and get my
Oh,
socks.
wait. It already went live, Sue. So I'm just gonna go ahead. Sue went to get her socks, y'all. Since Sue like to tell her business, I'm gonna tell her business until she get back. Welcome to the late night happy hour of Carrie Irene. That's me.
And I'm Sue.
And Dr. Sue.
Hey y'all.
There she is. Young, look, young she is. Young she go. Okay, I gotta go to my page and change to
Okay, I have to
privacy.
share. My feet
Go.
were cold, y'all. I can't function with my feet cold.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Good evening. Welcome to the late night happy hour with Carrie Irene and Dr. Sue. Where what comes up,
Comes
comes up.
out.
Because we're going to tell all our business. Dr.
Oh,
Sue love to tell her business, don't she?
and a little bit of Carrie Irene's too. And I
You tell it all. Spill it all. Spill it all. I got nothing to hide. All right, so we come here every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. What's that? What's that? 5? What's that? Yeah, 5 p.m. Is that
five.
Central? Yeah, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Friday nights because we want to just share our thought process surrounding any type of idea, any type of philosophy, any type of topic. And this evening I asked Dr. Sue, because typically we don't, let me make sure this thing is right. Typically we don't rehearse anything. We don't prep anything. Even when we do have a topic, I'll throw it to her or she'll throw it to me and we just sit on it and neither one of us know what the other one's going to talk about until we get here. So tonight, like, we do, I asked Dr. Sue what she was thinking about, and she shared some thoughts that she had earlier today with me. So I said, I'm going to let you take the reins tonight, and I'm just going to get in where I fit in tonight. Don't worry, because we all know I'm going to have something to say about it. So, yeah. Go on, tell them what's on your mind, Sue.
Okay, so y'all, my friend, my goddaughter said, "Well, you know you're a nerd." My my other friend said, "Well, you know you have ADHD." Go, well, no, I didn't know I was a nerd and I didn't know I had ADHD either. But I started to think about just kind of play my life back, right? Like a movie, looking at it. And then I found myself thinking, I think they're right. I think they're right on both counts. But as I was thinking about that, I had the opportunity today to go over to the University of Florida's law school for continuing education. And it was a conference from 9 o'clock this morning until 6:30 tonight. But they were talking about miscommunication. Hey, and at that point, I didn't have an idea about what I wanted to talk about. But on the way home, I left there and it just popped into my head that you all should talk about the process of recreation. Recreating is an art, and we are always in the process of recreating. We're as spiritual teachers, and we're life coaches. We're a lot of things. We wear a lot of hats and a lot of labels. And one of the hats that is becoming more common among folks is that of a transformational coach or a life coach. And it occurred to me that when we talk about transformation, transformation is if you just look at that word, it's like, oh my God, that's so big. It's a lot. It's like, who are you as person A and who do you want to become? Like, it almost feels like giant steps. But God just put it in my mind to say to you, that's too big. That's too big. Don't process it that way. Don't even envision it that way. Break it down to a second by second process, because every second we are thinking thoughts, whatever they may be, good, bad, those are labels, but whatever they may be, we are thinking thoughts. You can't not think. And here's the thing, this is the premise: every thought you have is a creative thought. So you can't not create. Some changes, because create, as you're creating, you're changing things. Even if you like who you be, you're still changing, right? And some changes are temporary and some changes are more permanent. Notice I didn't say permanent, more permanent, because nothing is permanent until it becomes habituated behavior buried deep at the subconscious level, so that it's like breathing, right? And so the if you follow me, what God was sharing with me is, tell them that whatever it is they want to do, whoever they want to become, yes, have the vision and make it plain, but then back it up and break it down into I am statements. I am this, whatever that thing is, whoever you want to become. I am. If you want, for instance, to, let me use, y'all, tell my business. So as I was thinking about this on the way home, my thoughts went back to, you were standing there among lawyers and aspiring lawyers. And for the first time, you had, it was a weird thing. It was like I had the embodiment of, I'm a teacher. Now I've said I'm a teacher before, but it just came, the energetically it was different. Energetically, I bonded, I embodied it, I embraced it fully for the first time. Even as a college professor, university professor, it's like, yeah, I'm a professor, but I never said I'm a teacher. There's a difference between being a professor and a teacher. And for me, a teacher is one who is more into transformation, supporting that person from where they are to where they want to be. So what God is saying is, break it down into bite-sized chunks, right? Even if the goal is to get up from where you're sitting and walk to the kitchen, break it down into, well, first I have the thought. Then I couple that with some action. And the action that I couple it with is that if I'm sitting, I stand up. And then I take one step. I'm going to move my right foot. Then I'm going to move my left foot. Then I may stand, depending on how far I may go, I have to go. And depending on the condition that I am in, I may have to pause and take a little breath, right? So rather than just thinking, oh, I'm going to the kitchen, which really kind of, it glosses over the process. And because it does that, sometimes we look at the who we want to become, what I want to do. We look at that and it's like, it's too big. It's just too big. I can't make that transition because it's just too big. Now, here's a little side story. When I was a kid, my mama used to always say, you're going to be a teacher. And as a kid, I would say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And as I got older and she would say that, I would say to myself, not to my mama, but I would say to myself, hell no, I ain't. I'm just not going to do that. And as I got older and she would say, you're teaching now, you're a teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, F no, no, you know, because for me, teaching, it, I don't even know how to describe it, but it was more than just saying the word. It is to embody that process of being a giver of knowledge and a way shower. right? And I didn't see myself as being that at all. But as I was standing there today, I thought, you coach, you mentor, but you're a teacher. That's who you are. That is the essence of who you are. But now, at age 73, my mama started saying this to me when I was a kid in elementary school, right? And so it's taken all of this time for me to get to the point that I think I embraced it on a spirit level. When you can do that, then transformation isn't so big because you've broken it down into bite-sized chunks that aren't overwhelming. And if you take a step with your right foot and your balance gets a little shaky, you got a moment that you can just kind of stop and right yourself. You don't have to fall down, and you don't have to rush to take that left step, the step with your left foot. And so often we are hearing the stories in our mind based on what other people have said, based on what society says. We're hearing all these stories that says you can't, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not this, you're not that. And we've internalized those stories. And so before we can get to point B with that left foot, we got to start to regurgitate some of that shit that we have swallowed straight up, right? And so I was thinking about all of this on the way home, and I just want to say to you, and then I'm going to give it to Carrie. I just want to say to you, understand transformation. That's like looking at an end goal. It's very subjective. It doesn't really clarify what is involved in the process. The process is break it down to a breath. With every breath, I am changing. And when I add, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm depressed, I don't feel like it. Now, energetically, every time you say something like that, you're operating at a low vibrational level. And so your energy is coming down, and it is less likely that you're going to have the energy you need to move that right foot. And so let's say, okay, another example. Now, yesterday we had the remembrance for my son. A couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I knew that I would do that. And I knew that I did not need to be in my house today. I knew that I needed to be out. I needed to have something that was going to redirect my focus. And so that's why I went for the continuing education class, right? But when I woke up this morning, well, actually, when I went to bed last night, I did one of these numbers. I'm not going to feel like going in the morning. The programming. I'm not going to feel like going in the morning. So I wake up this morning and what? I don't feel like it. Surprise, surprise, right? Surprise. I don't feel like it. And so I woke, the alarm went off at 6. I shut it off. Went off at 6:15, 6:30, 7:30. And finally I said, okay. But I got up, I got my shower. In the shower, there's an amazing thing happens when the water starts to hit you. It's just absolutely amazing. And I started to feel better. Now, I still mentally wasn't wanting to go, but I started to feel energetically, I could feel my energy raising, right? And then I couldn't find what I wanted to wear because it wasn't cute. I just, don't be laughing, Carrie. So I change clothes. All my room is a mess right now because I change clothes a lot of times. Why did I change clothes so many times? Because intuitively I was stepping into teacher mode in an environment that is not as relaxed as other environments. And I couldn't come in, I'm trying to get the people's money, right? So I had to come in looking a certain way because I didn't have to wear the uniform, but because I am an unknown entity trying to come into a different space, recreating myself. And when you're recreating yourself, it's not just mental, it's not just spiritual, it's everything. Bring all of you to and through the process. And when you are, but some people may say, oh, well, you don't have to be worried about the environment. Yes, you do. It's context. It's context. So you say, I want to come in and I want a $50 million contract, right? That's what you say. But you come in looking like a bum and these people don't know you, right? You think you're going to get $50 million? I mean, $50,000? No, you're not going to get the contract at all. You may have had it. You may have been on the verge of getting it, but now you don't. And so some things, this isn't about compromising who you are. This is about, quote unquote, emotional intelligence. As you're changing, you've got to be emotionally aware, not just of your emotions, but of the energy and the emotions of the room and the people that are in there, right? All of it is a part of this transformation process, because if you want to be, let's say you want a job in corporate, let's say you want a job wherever you want a job, you got to go in with an energy that matches or is just a little bit above the energy where you are. It can't be so far above the energy of the people that you're going to be working with, because they won't resonate with you. Why? Because you're not connecting. And you can't be so far down either, because you're still not connecting. So there's a range. And energetically, you've got to be conscious of it all. And so all of this is, I was thinking about it, not really articulating it that way, but thinking about it as I was getting dressed and finding, quote unquote, just the right thing, right? And it's like, as I, again, coming back to the point of as I was coming home, I kind of flashed back to that and realized, okay, so that was a part of the reinvention / recreation process of coming in, looking like a teacher that's going to be coming into a university, a college of law, teaching other people. So when I get to this morning, when I got to the location, who was the first person I saw? The dean.
There you go.
So let's just think, if I had come up in there with some cutoff jeans and, doing my thing.
Right.
No. So this reinvention
No.
process, conscious, be aware of your end goal, but break it down into bite-sized pieces and understand that some of the changes, they're not going to be welcomed by some people. Some of your friends aren't going to understand it. Your family's not going to understand that. They're going to say you're trying to be some kind of way. That's noise. Consider that as white noise, black noise, green noise. I don't care. It's noise. It is not consistent with what you're trying to do, right? And so just keep in mind that the who you want to be or the where you want to be, you've got to be that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Be that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, if you want to be whatever your idea of rich is, well, I can't be rich because I don't have the money. Rich is about more than money. There's a whole attitude that people have when they're rich. They walk a certain way. They talk a certain way. They bring a certain energy. So you don't have the money, but when you start to do those things, you're energetically drawing the money to you. Carrie?
When the incremental part that you're talking about and that you're referring to, because any type of creation, recreation, building, anything that is beginning processes, which we're talking about the thought process, anything like that has to be slight. Because otherwise, for instance, if you have every single thing that it takes to build a house on the land that the house will be built on, it's going to take you more time to sort it out and get it out of the way to even start to build. But if you just got what it takes for you to build the first foundation, the first brick, the first piece of cement, the first nail, the first plank, you focus on where you are right now. Those are the resources that you need right now for no matter where you're going. I don't care what your goal is. I don't care what your outcome is. I don't care about none of that. When it comes to energy, all of those things are interchangeable, because every house starts with a foundation. Every single idea starts with a thought. Every single thought comes with an emotion, and every single emotion that you feel will indicate whether you're going towards what you want or what you may think is best or what you may think someone else wants. Because if you refer back to the feeling, which is your foundation, then you will know what you're building on. And if the feeling that you have initially about wherever it is that you are going is not one that you want to have, don't build on it. Abandon ship. You know, I was listening to Abraham Hicks today, and it reminded me, the way she was talking reminded me of something that I heard in The Alchemist. And I'm paraphrasing a lot of things and a lot of philosophy, and even what Dr. Seuss said earlier. But when you start to create these neural pathways that we talk about, think of that in the essence, and I'm going to put this in a visualization process, because that was one of the things that Dr. Sue actually brought up today is, things to do to, start any type of process. Again, it is interchangeable. Who you are, what you're doing, I don't need to know none of that. I don't need no shit. I guarantee it's going to be the same for everybody. But if you visualize, we talk about the neural pathways in the brain, right? And it's like the grooves and stuff where memory happens. Blah, 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 blah. Think of a maze. Think of a maze in a field. Everybody know what a maze is, or everybody know what the little roads in the paths look like. Everybody can identify with that. Now, you picture you at the fork. There's something this way and there's something this way. And the thing they were talking about is it doesn't matter which way you go. Like, for instance, if there's a road path that way and there's a road that way and there's corn in front of you, you can go, you can go straight. Like, these are just some pathways that other people have been there. But a lot of times what we try to do is when we're creating a new pathway, we think we can go the same speed as if a path that's already been created. So if I run headfirst into a corn stalk, I'm never going to want to do that again. But if I just lean in and push it down, my way don't have to be hard. I just need to take my damn time and stop acting like I've been on this path before, because you ain't. So when you're becoming a new person, lay the corn down. Don't run into it and get yourself all cut up. And then you abandon the ship as if the path don't work. When really, it's really your approach. It's really your perspective. It's really your mindset about the path that you want. Lay that shit down and go on about your business. And it don't matter what happens to the left or the right, because half time, if you really focus on what you're doing and it's a path that's you and yours alone, you really can't see nobody, because the thicket's so thick that you ain't gonna see nobody till you get to the clearing. And everybody in the clearing are already saying, you came through the corn, did you? How'd you like it? It was good, wasn't it? Ooh, girl, I ran in there first. You see this? Look, this girl right here just now healing. I got that one when I first went in there. And we're sitting around this table talking about, how I got over, right? We ain't got to wait till we get in glory to have that conversation. Baby, come on, sit by me. Yeah, well, come sit by me. Still Magnolia, she's like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say about nobody, come sit by me. If you got something good to say about the path you want, come sit by me. We're going to talk about battle scars.
We all got them. And the thing is that one person's transformation process is not another's. It may, on the surface, appear to be the same, but that's like looking at that iceberg where you're just seeing the tip of it above water. You don't know what's underneath, right? You don't know the nights that they cried. You don't know the times they screamed because they had to get the energy out of their head. You don't know the walls that they ran into. You don't know the days and the nights that they sat there saying, God, show me the way, when they didn't see no way. And God still didn't show them, but just that little bit. And so you don't know any of that. But everybody comes through the corn. Listen, you ain't gonna get out of here without going through the cornfield. So just stop it. And what I'm saying is, go through the cornfield, but understand you can't go at anybody else's pace. You can try. Their pace isn't your pace. You can. One thing that Carrie said, and I want to emphasize it again, it's the same process. I don't care if you want to be a dog catcher, you want to be the president, you want to travel to England, you want to hang out in Europe. It don't matter. Whatever you decide what the end is. You want to walk from here to the kitchen. It still is a process. You still got to figure out the steps. First thing you got to do is have that awareness, have a desire, have an intention, and take some action. And then, like, what is the action that you're going to take, right? When you look at the action as whole cloth, I got to get my degree. Oh my God. I want to be a doctor and I got to get my degree. Let's break that down, see? Because it ain't one degree. Not one
Break
degree.
it down, though.
And it's residency. But even more than that, first you got to get in college. You got to complete the application. You got to get somebody to say, you got to get somebody to say, yeah, you can come here. You qualified. You can come here. And if you don't have any money, you got to get somebody to say, oh, we're going to give you some financial aid. And if you can't get that, you got to figure out, I got to get the money from somewhere. I'm going to beg, borrow, no steal, beg, borrow, and use credit cards, right? So you got to figure out the way. And that's a class by class process, right? And so it's not want to be the doctor, lay it out, baby. You're talking years. But if you think about all the years that it's going to take, that's going to turn you over here to, well, I'm just going to go get a job at McDonald's because that's just too much. Oh, you get to
no lie. That was a conversation I had with myself last week. I'm like, I just might well go to McDonald's. I was just kidding, but I was exaggerating. But yeah, it's the truth though.
It's a process. So everything is a process. Create a system. Listen, it is true that success leads a roadmap. There are tracks. You don't have to invent it all over again. Carrie and I talk, we give y'all some real value on here. But if you don't trust what we're saying, Google it. You don't want to Google Chat GPT, baby. Chat GPT will lay out the plan. Chat, this is where I am, this is what I got, and this is where I want to go. No excuses. No excuses. But first you have to break it down. What is, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm going to leave that to Carrie. But Carrie, there's a scripture that says something about write the vision and make it plain.
Yeah, I think that's look for Timothy. I don't know. Hang on, let's see. Timothy. No. Philippians. Write the vision. I know to come right up. Oh Lord, it ain't even nowhere near what I was thinking. It's Habakkuk.
I don't know. I just know
it's Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain. Yep.
So when we talk about visualization, it's the same thing, right? First, you got to have a clear picture in your mind of what it is and write it down. Think and Go Rich, all of these other people who talk about doing all this stuff, it ain't new.
No.
You can go back into the old text and find what they have just made current, right? Write the vision and make it plain. If you can't write the vision, how you gonna know when you go? How you gonna know when you get there if you don't know where you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know I'm gonna take State Road 26 and that's gonna take me to Interstate 75. You don't have to know that, but you gotta have an endpoint, and you gotta be able to see yourself at the end, right? And this is where your imagination comes in. It is so unfortunate that as children, we are encouraged to dream. We are. Oh, you can be anything you want to be. You want to be the doctor, the lawyer, the dog catcher, the garbage collector. You want to be it all. The mom, whatever. You can be it all. And then we began over time to herd you into a single lane because you can't be all of that. And after a while, we stop dreaming. We stop using our imagination. We accept that This is accept the lie, the miscommunication to self. We accept the lie that I can only be this thing. That's not true. Open up your mind. Go back to when you were a kid. What did you dream about? What did you want to do? Okay, so you don't want to do that no more? Listen, y'all, go to Chat GPT. They got the free version. Say, Chat GPT, when I was a kid, I'm telling you how to write it. You don't have to be perfect. Chat GPT does not care about your grammar, about your spelling. Chat GPT, when I was a kid, I always wanted to do this, this, and this. I still want to do this is what I'm doing right now. I don't really like it, but I kind of think I'm interested in doing this. What do you think, Chat GPT? Yeah, I know it's artificial intelligence. I know that it is not a real person, but trust me when I tell you it will still do the job. And if you want to make it just a little, if you want to make it so that you're talking to a person, quote unquote person, AI person, you say before you get started or after you put all your stuff in, you just say, Chat GPT, assume the persona of a career coach. Assume the persona of a therapist. Assume the persona, or if you don't know what persona means, assume the person, the personality of a career strategist and tell me what I should think about doing. Duh. Free, baby,
He
free.
said, duh.
I'm just saying. It's like, don't make it. We live, this is the 21st century. People are talking so much anti AI, but here's the deal, you ain't going to get away from it. You better learn how to use it. Use it to your advantage. It is free. It's free. You don't have money for a marketing strategist or business coach. Hey, Chat GPT, I don't have, listen, I don't have no money, chat. You know what I told it the other day? I said, chat, I need a business strategist. Can you do that? And can I give you a name? It says, yes. What name would you like to give me? I said, I want you to be Sabrina. It says, I am Sabrina. Do you want me to be a hard-nosed career business strategist, or do you want me to be soft and easy? I said, chat, Sabrina, be hard-nosed, but have compassion. Yes, I will be hard. Listen, y'all, me and the girl, we've been dialoguing.
You and Sabrina like this.
I'm just saying, now bring it back to your personal development or your spiritual development. How do you want to develop? How do you want to evolve? How do, when you imagine yourself at maximum human potential, what does that look like? What does it look like as a spiritual being? What does it look like as a non spiritual being, if that's the space you're in? It doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying. I'm a nerd, but I'm giving you some nerd stuff that you can become a nerd. You don't want to be a nerd, be nerd like and use Chat GPT and this other AI to your advantage. So I don't know. That's all I got to say. Carrie?
I was glad, as you were saying, thinking about like what does that look like? What do you want that to look like? And also, what do you want that to feel like? One of the things that I have been learning and crafting curriculum around and teaching is, what's it feel like? Your emotions and your emotional compass, what you feel is your very first indicator of what you are going to potentially see in full manifestation. So if it's something that keeps you in pain, any type of way, emotionally, spiritually, if it keeps you in some type of pain, any type of dis-ease, you are building your foundation upon something that you do not want to see replicated in your life in a physical, tangible form. See it, touch it, feel it, taste it, hear it type of form. And manifestations comes in all different ways. Most people, when you think of manifestation, you think about a house, a car, money, all the so it's typically centered around wealth of some type, some type of bougie shit. But a lot of times we can't get to that because we associate it with things that we don't have any type of reference to, any type of attachments to. It's so hard for someone to get a mansion if you've never had a mansion. People who've had a mansions, they can lose them and get them. Those quicker than we can even think about making a down payment on them sometimes, because they have already habituated what it is like to have one. So they can recognize signs that will give them the opportunity and chances to take to in order to acquire one. But if you can pay more attention and be more diligent to not so much as what you're seeing, but what you're feeling, that feeling that you have as a millionaire can be replicated by you overindulging in the feeling of security and the feeling of freedom and the feeling of luxury. And you can do that without $1 million. And the sooner you can do that without $1 million, $1 million having that same vibration can find its way to you. Because, honey, there's $1 million looking for me right now. Okay? I'm like this. Like, it's on the way.
and I love that you said that, Carrie, because I think that too often the emotional aspect of manifestation is not emphasized. It is, okay, so what do you want? And do the affirmations around it. Visualize what you want and do the affirmations. But the way that the manifestation works is that you got to have the energy. When you look to the end of this thing that you want, I got to see myself sitting in a Maserati. Oh, I can't see
Hey,
myself.
you better say what you're sitting in now. Come on.
Yeah, right. If you can't see yourself, get some pictures and go hang out. Okay, so they don't see you coming, and if you look like you ain't got no money, what did I say? I had to have the uniform on this thing. You look like you ain't got no money, they're gonna be looking at you like, yeah, right. And so if you're gonna go to the Maserati place, you need to be dressed like a Maserati driver person. I'm just saying. All of it works together to raise your energy to the Maserati level. If you're not emotionalizing it in that way, if you're not going to vibe at that level. And so visualization is great, affirmations are great, but if you don't have the energy, everything in existence is energy, and it vibrates at different levels. And so when you are vibrating at the level of the thing that you want, or the you that you want to be, then that's when you're going to manifest it. And here's what I also want to emphasize. Not only is it the most emotion that you must feel, but you, pardon my language, you got to get off your ass and do some work. It ain't
Get
just gonna
off
come.
your ass.
You can visualize it and you can affirmation it and you can feel it, but if you don't work for it, it ain't coming. It ain't coming. I think that manifestation, many of the people who teach about manifestation, they leave those two aspects out. They leave the energizing of it out, and they also leave the, you got to work. You still got to work. You still got to have a plan. You still got to break it into bite-sized chunks. You still got to put the left foot and the right foot. You still got to do that, because it's like as you are moving toward it, it's moving towards you. You stop, it stops. That's just the way it is. That's a universal law, y'all. That's the way it works. That's the way it works.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. The thing is about it, I'm so glad that it is a law. I'm so glad that it does work that way, because it ain't nothing you can do to stop me from getting what's mine. And that's when we say that, we don't mean that, and well, I can only speak for me. I don't mean that in the sense that what is yours is sitting like this and it's coming to you and it's like, get out of the way, get out of the way, I'm hers. No, what we're saying and what I'm saying is what is for you cannot miss you, because you are the one that has made every single decision that has ever been made about your life, whether it was influenced or not, honey, that got you right where you went. Now start being more aware of the decisions you make and the things you let influence your decisions. Because if you don't feel good about the decisions that you're making, that's your first indicator that you about to get some shit that you don't want.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple.
Your thoughts are energy. Um, and even when they are buried at the subconscious level, whatever you're thinking is really more operative or takes precedence or is more dominant than what you're conscious of thinking. So you can think of the the conscious mind is like the body of the vehicle, but the subconscious mind are all of the systems and everything else that's running that vehicle. If you gut the car of all of the systems, the motor, whatever it, all of that stuff, you ain't going nowhere. You may look good on the outside, but you're not going anywhere. And that's the way it works with this manifestation. If all you have, you visualize the outcome, the end game, right? And you say your affirmations: I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I own a 5,000 square foot home. I've got a beautiful pool. I've got the loving person, whatever, whatever. Okay, you can say all that. Now, what you're doing to get yourself ready so that you're vibrating at the same level as that energy of the person and or the thing is, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you are affirming all those things, those are higher vibrational things, I'm going to assume. I know what they say about assuming, but let's assume that they are. But you haven't done anything to prepare yourself. Here's the thing, and this is my latest whatever. Y'all can fill in the blank. I'm hearing more conversations about the six-figure man, the six-figure woman, the high value man, the high value woman. Well, I don't know what that means to anybody. You get to define it for yourself, right? But if your high value is not the same as his or her high value, then you're not going to meet. If you want an educated man who is a millionaire, and you don't have a high school degree or a GED, and you are not doing anything to enhance your personal development, and you're just happy watching TV, you ain't vibing at the same level. You're not moving at the same rate. You don't have anything to bring to the table. Why is it that you would think that this person wants you? He or she is bringing everything to the table. What are you bringing? Right? You want that person. You got to be ready to meet that person. That means you got to up your game. And so when we talk about manifestation, I think that sometimes we look at it like, this is my savior. This is the way I'm going to save myself. This is the way I'm going to get rich overnight. This is the way I'm going to do whatever it is that I want without working. Don't work that way. You got to do the work. Got to do the work.
Yeah, you got to do the work. And I think it goes without saying how we both feel about it. It starts in the inside. It ain't no kind of work that you got to go clock in. It ain't no kind of work and it may involve clocking in, but the work is really getting up and getting into motion and making forward progress, moving decisions towards something that you want, something that you value, something that you crave, something that's calling you, something that gives you life, something that breathes life into you. Because if it feels opposite than those things, because, a lot of times, we don't do stuff because of fear or we're anxious or there's anxiety surrounding it. But if you're real honest with yourself, you know the difference between I ain't supposed to do this and I'm just scared to do this. So then your first step would be getting someone to help guide you through whatever that wall is, whatever that fear is, so that you can go towards the thing that you love, the thing that you want, the thing that's been calling you for years and years and years, maybe since you were a kid. But don't let something that you know is redeemable stop you from going towards what you want, going towards what you love, what you know that your mission is, your soul's calling is, or just something that you want to do for today. That's like this morning, I just wanted to go downtown. I had no direction. I didn't know if I was going to work when I got there, but I packed everything up as if I was. But I just knew I just wanted to be in the presence of something that I want to be an everyday feeling for me. And I knew I could get that downtown because I needed that feeling. There was nothing downtown I needed that I couldn't get probably at home, right here in these houses. Some coffee, some, just people watching, stuff like that. Because I look out, on my windows all the time, looking at the neighbors, stuff like that. But there was a feeling that I wanted to have today. And it was that feeling of freedom, that feeling of, working anywhere I want to work and pulling out my laptop and setting it up. And I got my charger there and I got all my stuff there because I'm a businesswoman and I got shit to do. That's what I wanted to feel like today. And I wanted to see people seeing me do it too. Like, yeah, yes, I'm over here running my business. Thank you so much. I want to feel like that. And you should want to feel like that too, surrounding anything that you want. So if you want to be a dancer, and one of the things that you got to encapsulate as a dancer, just start with your posture. Just work on your posture, because that's going to strengthen your core and it's going to help you sail beyond anyone who hasn't been working on their posture, right? If you want to be a pianist, the first thing you got to do is learn some chords, right? Wherever you are, I wrote down where you are in relationship to where you are going is what you should focus on, not from where you were. You can't set your GPS and tell it to give you directions from a place that you're not right now. It can only give you directions from where you are right now. Now I could type it in and say, give me the directions and give me step by step if I was over there. But I best to figure out how to get over there if that's where I'm going to start the directions, right? So you got to start right from where you are, every step that you take, knowing what your end goal is, so that any detour, any bump in the road, you don't get so frustrated and abandon your mission to get there. You just reroute yourself, because it doesn't matter what twist or turn you make, your destination is the same. And anytime you on a trip, we all know what the GPS says, rerouting, because I know where you want to go. And because you took a wrong turn, quote unquote, wrong turn, baby, I still know where you want to go. Just go on up here. You're going to swing this left, but now you're going to take a right this time. That's all. Just know where you're going, know what you want to feel, and go towards that feeling. And soon you'll start seeing places you want to be. Soon you'll start talking to people you want to talk to. Soon you'll be marrying the person of your dreams. Soon you'll have the job that you can do in your sleep. Soon you'll be healthy, whole, complete, and you'll know it. Not because someone told you, because it's a feeling that you got. And can't nobody take that away from you. Nobody.
Yeah. I like that you said about changing locations and working from downtown. I do that on the regular. On Sunday, typically on a Sunday, don't talk, don't judge. Instead of going to church, I go to Barnes and Nobles.
Hallelujah.
I get there early. They open at 9. I get there early. I have my favorite table that I sit at. And I set up my office, and I get the big table for 4, even though, yeah, I know other people are going to come. They should have got there early, because I got there early. And I got the big table with the 4 chairs, and I spread my stuff all over it, because I'm sitting up for the day, right? Mm-hmm. I'm there from 9 o'clock to 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Because I'm using their facility as my temporary office, I buy breakfast I buy lunch, and I typically will buy a snack before I leave to come home. So I am supporting their business as they are supporting mine.
Absolutely.
And it feels real good to be my Sunday office, and I get all cute because I'm dressed to go to work, right? And I'm dressed for people to see me because my business requires me to be visible, and I speak to people and strike random conversations when I take a little break from my work. I do what I would do in the office. I do what I would do. And it's a whole different feeling of embodiment than I would get if I stayed here at the house. Now I got a house, right? I got a nice office. I could do my work here, but it's not the same. There are the days that I need to get out and be, quote unquote, in a different space. And so going back to one of the examples you used where you said, if you want to be a dancer, if you want to be a dancer, you must go to where people dance. If you want to be a pianist, you must go to where they play pianos. If you want to be a singer, you got to go where people sing. That's the energy. You're going to interact with, connect with the energy of people who have like interests, and that in itself will raise your energy, help raise your energy. That's going to help put you in the space so that energetically things are moving. If whatever it is that you want to do, you must, and this is hard, this may be hard to really envision, but you must embody that energy now. Let's say you want to be an English teacher and your English sucks. Well, Google Grammar Check, Grammarly, Chat GPT, all of the AI that can help you. But let's say you haven't gotten to the point where you can see. I consider myself trilingual. That means I speak their language, I speak our language, and then I speak cuss words.
This whole time, I didn't even know I was bilingual. I speak cuss words too. How about that?
So I'm trilingual, and I know when to use when to speak each of those languages, and I do it fluidly, right? So if you want to be an English teacher, then that's one of your tools. You got to, because you're going to be teaching diverse populations, right? And so that's mastery, not just mastery of English, that is mastery of language, so that you can support those people who you are there to support, right? And so the point that I want to make is just become today as best you can. Granted, it may take you a little time to become trilingual, but don't laugh.
Goals.
But start where you are, study those people who are good at it, and begin to pick up tips and hints from them, and do your own research and practice it, because practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. The more I do it, the better I become. The better I become, the more I do it, the better I become. And now we're programming the subconscious mind. We're doing that. We're building the neural circuits, et cetera, so that pretty soon, I bet you, in a week, you'll begin to be very conscious of your languaging. In a month, you'll realize you'll catch yourself making mistakes, and you will say, "Oh, let me roll that back and say it this way." In 6 months, you won't have to roll back, maybe every now and then. In a year, you'll be very fluid. You'll be fluid. We say, and I was always taught, it takes 21 days to create a habit. And the neuroscience now says, yes, it takes 21 days to create a habit. That means to get you in the mindset of doing this. And the question is, well, if it takes only 21 days to create a habit, why is it that most habits don't stick? The new science says that it takes 6 months to a year concretize that, to solidify that habit. And so to put it under the water in terms of the iceberg, it becomes a part of the subconscious programming so that it is as natural for you as breathing. In 21 days, you're still in the baby phase. You're on a scale of 1 to 10, 21 days, you're still at 1. You want to be a 10, it's going to take you 6 months to a year. You want to really, really, really get it ingrained in your soul, so to speak, you're 3 to 5 years out. But even if you don't get to 3 to 5 years out, if you start practicing whatever it is you want to do today, start today. A week from now, you will already be a different person. And initially, yes, it's going to be hard because you are extinguishing one habit and you are filling the void with a new habit. You got to fill the void because otherwise that old habit's going to come back. It's going to resurface. So if I don't want to say ain't anymore, then I have to become aware, number one, that I don't want to say that. And for me, I have to have a reason. Why don't I want to say that? Well, this is where I'm going, and it doesn't fit in with the languaging. It doesn't fit in with their language, and that's the space that I'm going to operate in, right? So when I say it, initially, I catch myself. And then I catch myself. I find that I have to catch myself fewer times. Well, now I'm at a point where, I've been doing this a long time. I got more life behind me than I'll ever have in front of me. And in many ways, I no longer give a care. I'm not saying I totally don't, because again, I told you I wore the uniform this morning with a flare, but it was still the uniform, right? And so I'm not saying throw all care to the world, but I'm saying you reach a point where it's so fluid, it's so much a part of you that you don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about whether I'm going to say ain't or aren't. Depending on where I am, I know the words are just going to naturally come out. Those words that should come out will come out, and I don't cuss.
Yeah.
But when
I amaze myself that I don't slip up and cuss in front of my mama, because I cuss so much in other spaces. But it's just like it just ain't what happens when I'm. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen.
It's the programming. It's not that it at the subconscious level. That is how you have programmed yourself so that you will not. I never cursed in front of my mom. I never cursed in front of my sister.
Now I cuss to my sister. I don't cuss a lot around my family in general. Usually if I'm cussing around one of my siblings, it's within a joke to make the joke funnier. Other than that, it's just not like just cussing, no, I don't do that.
Yeah. I don't think I ever cussed in front of my brothers. Now I do it in front of the whole world, but I'm just saying.
Right, that part. Like if you on Facebook, I'm cussing in front of you. Just get ready for it. She said, I curse all the time. It's so liberating.
It is. It is a farm. It's an art form.
It is. It's the best cuss I ever heard was if I had to try to say it, Bernie Mac.
I love Bernie Mac.
Sentence together and make you hurt yourself. Okay, he's so funny to me. So we're coming up on the album. My last words I just wanted to interject earlier when we were talking about the GPS and knowing where you're going, paying attention to what it feels like, and not just stopping at the feeling, but get into action and move. It's also I wanted to add that no matter what you choose, don't get sidetracked by how long it takes, because the time's going to pass anyway. The time is going to pass anyway. And everybody, I say everybody I know of has that something that at some point in time that you thought, had I just started last week, had I just started last year, I had a whole year of that habit under my belt. But I found this. I couldn't remember if it was Chinese, Japanese, African proverb, but I found it. It's a Chinese proverb, and I love it because it is so true. That. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Yes, but the second best time is right now. Right now is the best time to start any new habit. Right now is the best time to release bad habits. And right now is the best time to decide, to make a decision, and know, if you lean into it, if you lean into whatever that decision is, does it feel good? Does it feel, your gut knows. We may have a lot of residue built up and it's hard for us to hear it, but if you lean into that thing long enough, you'll know if it's the right decision for you or not. Trust yourself. We got to build up more trust for ourselves. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. Trust in yourself, because sometimes we take advice from people and it'll work out. It'll work out. But just because something worked out good for you doesn't mean that something else and trusting yourself wouldn't have worked out better. Because even if it worked out in a way that the benefit wasn't as much as what you got because you took someone else's advice, the muscle that it builds, that you trust yourself, it's priceless.
Yeah.
Absolutely priceless, because we all know at some point we've had also in our lives where we've done something that didn't make any sense, but what it did was it set up our ears to hear something more important later down the road.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
because we were diligent with what we heard or what we felt or what we went with, later the repercussion could have been something as simple as, I got there, like literally when I walked in the door and I got in the checkout line, I was the last person in the line that they was giving these coupons to.
Yeah.
You could have went over here and got $1 million, but if you ain't a millionaire, you would have spent 10 years with money that just plagued you, and you were miserable with that money. We all know rich people that done commit suicide, so let's not act like that's what we're looking for, because too many people have had it and it didn't do it.
Okay.
So it can't be the answer. It's the feeling that you have when you get there. It's the things you do with the blessing that you receive. It's the expansion that you create in going towards your goals. This is where the sweet spot is. It's the momentum that you create. It's the wave you send out. It's the frequency that you match. These are the things we may not be able to touch them, but it's the one thing that can control everything else in our lives if we get that part right. So that's all. And I wanted to put you on some game with business. Let me show y'all my screen saver for my phone. And I suggest everyone do the same. Put a QR code that goes to your website on your phone, especially if you don't want to keep printing business cards and things like that. You put your QR code as a screenshot, a screensaver on your phone. You meet somebody, you out, you ain't even got nothing with you, bam. Had them scan that joker and you in business. At least they got, they can look through the history. Even if they forget it, now you're in the history on their phone. So that's what I use when I go out, especially if I have no aim for the day. I don't know where I'm going, what my objective is. This particular QR code is just to a landing page that can go anywhere. So just a little game, just a little free game. Free game. That's what I do. All right. Well, Dr. Sue, take us on out of here. What's your final thoughts? And we're going to see them next week.
Final
I mean, we
thought.
got some next.
Yeah. Final thought is, remember that life is a process. It happens moment by moment, not day by day, not hour by hour, certainly not year by year. In every moment, you're changing. In every moment, you get to decide how you want to change. So don't focus so much on what other people tell you. Don't focus so much on what you think you should do based on what other people say. This is the time to really connect with your own self, your own soul. This is the time, if necessary, to have what I call divine appointments with God, divine appointments with Source, which you aren't doing so much talking. You really are just kind of laying it out. God, I need a little help with this. Give me clarity, or Source, give me clarity, and just sit and listen. Listening is an active process. And don't expect to see the full road. You're only going to see, make your peace with this. God is only going to show you the amount that you need to see in order to get to the next level. Because if he showed you everything that was involved in it, it would be too much. It'd be too much. So stop trying to see around the corner, down the street, and up the bend. No, just show me my next step. That's it.
moment by
I
moment.
say, I say, I say. Well, be here week after next because we're doing it every other week now. So it'll be the 28th. We'll be back February the 28th. I am having another master class I've decided on February 23rd. I'll put more information about that on Facebook, but I wanted to say that just because I'm looking at the calendar, it reminded me. But we'll be back again, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time for the late night happy hour with Carrie Irene and Dr. Sue,
Dr.
where
Sue,
what
I love
comes up,
you.
comes out. See y'all.